channel. So I can't believe it's already August. And so today I want to go over all of the books that I read in the month of July, and I had an amazing reading month. If you don't know, which I'm not sure how you don't, but if you don't know, the Booktubeathon took place the end of the month last month, and I did so amazing. So this wrap up is going to include the books I read before Booktubeathon and then the books that I read during Booktubeathon. So it's going to be a combined wrap up, just because I think it's kind of silly to make two right in a row, so we're just going to put it all together. So let's just get into what I read. The first three books I actually don't have copies of, so I'll just put a picture up here. The first book that I read in the month of July was Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia, and guys, oh my god, that book, it was so good, and I just, like, I could relate to so many things in there. It brought back so many memories of like first love and like, I don't know, I just loved it. There was some things that I didn't love, so I think I gave that one 4.5 out of 5 stars, but for the most part, like, I absolutely adored it. Some of it did feel a little forced. I feel like the main character wouldn't have done a few of the things that she did do, and it felt forced to me, but besides that, it was an overall amazing read, and I'm so glad I picked it up because I almost didn't, because it's super hyped and I just felt like it was going to be like something I wasn't going to be interested in. But sometimes hype books are hyped for a reason, and that is definitely one of them. After that, the next book that I picked up was Bird Box by Josh Malerman, and this is a horror book. Josh Malerman is actually from Michigan, which I think is pretty amazing. Because I too am from Michigan, and I think he still lives here in Michigan. And that book was absolutely fantastic, and if you haven't heard, they're going to turn that book into a movie, which is so great. I'm like stoked. I'm like ready for it. I'm ready. And I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. So in order to get a 5-star read out of me, I give a lot of books 4 out of 5 stars because a lot of books I truly enjoy, and I'm starting to be more critical of my star rating, and maybe I'll make a video of that later. I don't want to go on and on about that, but anyways, I gave that 4 out of 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. After that, I picked up The Trophy Child by Paula Dahle, and this is one of the buddy reads picks from Lisa Books and Smiles. She has a buddy reads group on Goodreads, and this was one of her July picks, so I picked that one up. That's like a mystery suspense novel that follows a family whose daughter goes missing and no one can find her, and she's like the trophy child, and she goes missing, and it's just like their journey through that, and it was amazing. Like the first half of the book, I was kind of like, the main character annoyed me, or one of the main characters annoyed me. I wasn't a huge fan, and then something just happens, and I was like, okay, where's the story gonna go from here now? And I was completely shocked and surprised, and I really, really enjoyed that one. I'm pretty sure I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars as well. After I finished that one, then I started reading Because You Love to Hate Me, but unfortunately I didn't finish that one. I also started reading Flame in the Mist by Renee Ahdieh, and I have not finished that one either, and I'm having a hard time with it, to be honest. It's not my favorite. But in the midst of that, I picked up Lisa's other buddy reads book, which was Lost Girls by Mary DeStefano, and this follows a girl who was kidnapped, and she gets away, she gets home, and then she can't remember what happened. So it's like the whole story is her like starting to remember more and more, and there's a bunch of girls that are lost. I did enjoy this for the most part, but some of it was just like unbelievable, or like the main character was a little insufferable sometimes. So I ended up giving this one 3 out of 5 stars, but it was pretty good. Then I picked up for Booktubeathon. So first I just want to talk about Booktubeathon. So there were 7 challenges, and I completed, technically I completed 6 out of 7. I completed 5 books, I think. Yeah, I completed 5 books, and I think I completed 6 challenges, if we want to be technical. So the first book I completed was Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, and this was the hyped book pick. I flew through it. I think I finished it in 2 days. And it's huge, but it's mixed media. It's 600 pages, but it's mixed media, so it's not like, you know, I was reading pages and pages of, you know, just text, because there's a lot of like different things in here. It took me a little while to get into it, but by the end of it, I was like on my feet, like needed to know what was going to happen. Just like I was attached to the characters, and I didn't know what was going to happen, and it was just great. So I ended up giving this one 4 out of 5 stars, and I can't wait to pick up the second one, Gemini, sometime soon. So after that, I picked up The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn, and this is a book that I read completely outdoors. So this was another one of the challenges. I read this one completely outdoors. It's about 62 pages, so it's really not that big. It's a short story, it's a ghost story, and I really enjoyed it. It's no surprise or no secret that I really enjoyed Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I have her other 2 books on my shelves, which I haven't got to yet, but I hope to do so soon, maybe in October. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars because it is a short story, so it's kind of hard to give it like a higher rating because it's only 60 pages, but like it was pretty good, and I do recommend it. Although I got this for free, I don't think I would have paid, because I think this is the same price as like a full-size novel, and I don't think I would have paid that for it. So if you can find it like super cheap, then it's worth picking up, or maybe getting it from your local library. After that, I picked up Fairest by Marissa Meyer. This is Queen Lavanna's story. It is a novella. It's like 220 pages, I think. This was read a book in one day, which I did. I listened to the audiobook while I did housework around my house, and I listened to it all in one day. I did enjoy it. It was nice to see like some of the reason that Queen Lavanna is the way she is, although it did not change my mind about her in the slightest. I think she's just evil. And so yeah, it was nice to get back into this world, the Lunar Chronicles world, and I can't wait to pick up Winter next. I do have Stars Above, and I think maybe I should read that before Winter, but I bought it because it was Marissa Meyer and it was cheap, but I don't think I'm ever going to read it. Is that sad? I don't know. Okay, after that, we're almost done here. I only have a couple more. So I read a total of 10 books this month, which is totally crazy. Totally crazy, because normally I read like between 5 and 6, and I read 10. And 5 of them I read in 1 week. Like, what? I will tell you, I think I got through so many books so quickly. Well, a couple of them were pretty short, but I think I got through so many so quickly because I didn't watch TV. And I would get up in the morning and I would work. If I had time before work, I would read, and then I would work, and then I would do housework, and then I would read, and then I would go to bed. And like it was a cycle, like every day. And like I was vlogging and I was editing and stuff too, but like for the most part I didn't watch any TV, and I wasn't really on YouTube, and like I didn't do any of those things. So I think if I want to accomplish a lot in a short period of time, or like in a month, that I need to just set time aside to read, or more time. I did learn during this readathon that I can read about 65 to 70 pages an hour, which is pretty good if I make myself focus. So during the readathon, I would just like set a timer for an hour, and then I would just read for an hour straight, and I wouldn't do anything else. So, you know, I'm learning how to accomplish more reading, because if you guys, I mean, I have all of these books behind me, and I have 2 shelves over here on the side that you guys can't see, full of books. I'm starting to haul books because I am buying additional books, and my shelves are full and I'm not getting through them. So you guys will see later, but August is going to be mostly books from my shelves, and I think through the rest of the year, for the most part, maybe 1 or 2 here and there are going to be books exclusively that I own. So anyways, the next book that I read was To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. This book actually would count for 2 challenges: read a book with someone on the cover, which I did, and also read a book from a perspective that's different than yours. And she's Korean American and I am not. So it took me a really long time to pick this up. I've checked it out from the library multiple times, and I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna read it. And oh my gosh, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely adore it. I'm so excited that this is being made into a movie as we speak, and I've already ordered the second book from Amazon. This is a library copy, so I will eventually order this one as well, but I feel like as soon as I get it in, I'm gonna want to read it, because I just fell in love, guys. It's so good, and like Laura Jean. She's just so sweet. I loved it. I can't get over it. It's such a good book, and I think this is maybe one of the first books that I gave 5 out of 5 stars this year, so that's kind of a big deal. Okay, then I picked up Between Two Skies by Joanna Sullivan. This book follows our main character Evangeline, who is 16 years old. She lives in a very small fishing town in Louisiana, and Hurricane Katrina comes in and wipes out her entire town and all of their livelihood, and it's just her like struggling to get relocated to a different state and trying to make new friends and trying to find old friends and reconnect with all the people that were affected from her town, all of her friends and family and all of that. So you know, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I read it in one day, which again is crazy to me because I don't usually do that. And I highly recommend it. I will say that yes, it's YA, and yes, there's a romance, of course, because it's YA and contemporary, and there's a lot more romance than I would have liked to see in there. And like some of the things she does are kind of annoying, but she's a 16-year-old girl, so of course they're going to be. But for the most part, I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then the last book that I read, and this was just going to be my 7th book, but obviously I only read 5, so it'll count. It doesn't count for anything, although it is a beautiful cover, so maybe I picked it up because of the cover. I don't know. You know, gotta get to those points in when you can, right? So, the last and final book that I read in the month of July, I read this on Monday after the book, or I finished it on Monday after the Booktubeathon, was Royally Screwed by Emma Chase, and this was my book for read a book with someone on the cover, but obviously I didn't finish it before midnight on Sunday. So, this is a adult romance. It follows our main character, Prince Nicholas, and Olivia. Olivia works in a coffee shop in New York, and Prince Nicholas is sent to New York to retrieve his younger brother, and he runs into her, and things go from there. Some of the things in here I will say, like, they felt a little forced. I felt like Olivia wouldn't have done those things. They felt forced to me and like just put there for like the shock value, and that was kind of annoying. But to be honest, I really enjoyed it. I already ordered the second novel before I finished this one, and I'm a little disappointed because it's not going to follow these two characters. It's actually a companion novel. It's going to follow Henry, which is Nicholas's younger brother. So I'm sure it'll be just as good, but I wasn't as attached to Henry. I didn't like him as much, but I really did like Olivia and Nicholas. So we'll see what happens. And I did give this one 4 out of 5 stars as well. So guys, those are all 10 books that I read this month, which is completely amazing, and I cannot believe that I get to make a video where I finally read more than 6 books in a month. I had a great reading month, and I accomplished so much, and like, you know, I read a few books on my own shelf that have been there for a while. I read a few library books, and I just had a great time this month, and I cannot wait to see what happens next month. So I will talk to you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe, follow me on Twitter and Goodreads. All of the information will be linked in the down bar below, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!